This may be surprising, but 70% of the people say they want to start their own business. They want to own their own business. This is the United States, the Americans. Only 6% actually do. Why? What's the difference? What's that big question? That's what we're going to be talking about now. I think I've found the answer, or some of them. And that's why we are shifting this podcast to help solve that problem. Welcome to the Company of One podcast. This is episode number 206. 206. Yes, there's a couple of hundred of them already. And we're shifting our focus. I'm Dale Callahan, and I am your host here and the founder of the Company of One podcast. So for some of you maybe have been here many times before, and you've heard these podcasts. We're doing some things different. It's been a couple of years. If you've been around for a while, this is a shift. This is not episode one. But it is a restart. It is a refocus from what I have been doing in the past. So to frame it up before we get into the other issue, in the past, what I've been doing is helping people either start companies, to grow their income inside their own companies, where the whole Company of One concept came from, or we've been helping them find a job. So a little bit of everything. And to me, if you've listened to this podcast, it's all the same thing. All of that's the same stuff. It's the same principles. But over the years, I found something that was just, I see more clearly now. And this is important to those of you looking for your own startup company, or you have a company and you're trying to grow it. As you move, as you are in motion, you start to discover what's really going on. What's the pain point? Who's the customer? What do they want? Because here's what I discovered. A lot of people said they wanted to help grow their career. And especially inside the university stuff, the stuff I do inside the university, where we do the information engineering management program and engineering management program. And we are helping them in a couple of courses in the concept called Company of One, somewhat like we do here. And they want to grow their career. The promise that we're trying to help them deliver on is a $30,000 or more increase in pay. They say they want that. And when they show up at the university, they do want that. They do take action on that. And that's great, but they don't show up for that otherwise. I have yet to had anybody come to me outside of a university setting where they're in a degree program. And even there, nobody comes to me and says, I want to grow my career. I have a good job. I want to make more money in my job. I want to have more impact. Nobody says that. There's books written on it. There's all kinds of content out there, but nobody says that's what they want to do. That's a little weird, right? For the millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people around the United States that are working, that have good jobs, and many of them do, we don't seem to be interested in maximizing that income. That's weird. To me, that's weird. I'm thinking, if you're doing work, I want to make more money. I want to have more impact. I want to work less, make more money. All these kind of things, they sound good to me, but maybe they're not really good for everybody. That's not what the desired pain is. And that's important. That's important to me. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably important to you, is understanding the desire and understanding the real felt pain. Growing your company is not it. I've also not had much interest in it in a way. I have a whole lot of people that show up, and I'm trying to find work, and they ask me for help there. I found most of us don't listen. We're not interested in the approach that works. I mean, I'm not the only one that says this. Filling out job applications one after another, going online, doing this, it just doesn't work. Okay, it works, but the statistics are really low. There are much better methods of networking intentionally to do this through the reverse interview process and all that I teach people. I know it works, and it's not invented by me. Many people know it works. But people don't want to hear that. I will meet with people. They're paying me many times. They're not interested in what in a better approach. What they're interested in is, can I introduce them to people? Can I reassure them? What are they doing wrong? Can I look at their resume? No, no, I can't. I mean, I could, but why? That's not their problem. So of the three things, the one thing is to get a job or find another job. The second thing was to grow in your career, and the third thing was to get out of your career in the way it is and own your own thing and be in charge. Of those three things, the things that people have come to me, even when I was not advertising it. In these couple of years that I have not been doing the podcast, many people have come to me and said, "Hey, I have this problem. I need this." And many of them to say I'm listening to the Company of One podcast, and I've been listening to your shows, which are in this case old, same content but older, and I need help. And that's why people are coming to me. They're either trying to grow their business, they're trying to start a business. They're in many of them they want to start a business but don't really know what to do. So that's the shift. So as I'm jumping in here today, that's the problems that, number one, excite me. As much as I like helping people do the other two, there's something about corporate America and the lingo of corporate America and all that stuff that goes on. It seems phony. Right, and many of us feel phony in it, right? I did, and I have. So that's the path that I'm trying to take now, because that's the people that are really asking me for help. Sure, there's some others, but the ones that are really seriously wanting to invest in themselves and wanting help are people that are wanting to start some companies, and it's exciting work. So. I'm still with the university. So give it a little bit more backstory. For those of you that know me, I'm still with the university. I'm still running executive graduate programs. For a short stint in between this, I took a role, and it's part of my reason for stepping out of that. I took a role in the dean's office where I was an associate dean, which just was very busy with a lot of meetings and things. We were invested in doing some more real estate investing, and we moved. I mean, that was so all that's kind of happened in the process. We bought, in this home we're in now, we bought a couple of 100 acres to get out of the city, if you will. We're still in a city, but it's different. We're a little bit outside. So a whole lot of things have been going on, and man, tying those things up, those loose ends have been just forever. And we're still doing some of them, but so I'm still at the university. The university's given me a really front row seat to a lot of high performers, both on the clients, the students that come into our program, because they're all corporate, and many of them are high level corporate. And of course, the board members we have are all corporate executives. And the people that are teaching for us are high level corporate. Just listening, watching, understanding their problems and hearing it. So many industries, from big pharma to DoD to manufacturing, we're just all over the map. Which we weren't in the past. We've gotten heavily into some other areas that because we've attracted students/clients in those areas. So it's been interesting watching the same problems, no matter where you are, and no matter the salary differences of the people that we work with. Some of them are some of them are in the 50s still, but 50,000s, that is, and but many of them were well into the 200s. So big salary differences, and I guess some of the executives are even above that, but with all things included. But it's been interesting. What's most interesting is most people who join want a degree. Now that sounds stupid, I know, because you're thinking, of course, if they join this program, they're not wanting to start a company. They want a degree. But that's not really the promise that we're doing. Because what they need is direction. What they need is direction, a path, what to go. And you can tell it every single phone call we have with them as they're coming in. They're looking for direction, they're looking for hope, and they think this degree on the wall gets it for them. And fortunately, in their case, this one does move that needle for them, but not in the way they thought it would usually. So, but that's led me. All these things have started leading me to change my focus of what we're doing here. And another thing that has changed, let me switch gears one more time here as we come to give you some backstory, is the AI tools. Of course, that wasn't around just 2 years ago or something. It certainly wasn't as prevalent. And for you, some of you, it may not be around at all. I mean, you hear about it, you talk about it. It's embedded to some things that you do. But you're not really using it. Like if you use Microsoft, it's Copilot over there, and you might click around and use it for something. But for some of us, this is our daily go-to tool. It's the tool I use. I mean, it used to be to me that email was probably the most frequent tool we used of all, of all the tools, especially if you're not doing hardcore engineering work or something anymore. AI tools are the most frequent tool I use. By far, email is something I can leave closed a lot of the day and deal with that in certain windows. But the AI tools is a constant, everyday go-to for me. It's strategy, it's thinking, it's creating, it's pushing the boundaries. And everybody talks about how AI kind of makes you dumber. And I can see that maybe, but AI probably makes most of us that are using it the way I am. It's challenging. It challenges me more. So whether it's mapping out a business plan, prepping for a strategy session, or figuring out what's next, which is what I spend a lot of time helping people do, it's a great tool for workflow, for strategy. And I say all of this because that's what most of you here are looking for. So now, let's switch. That's kind of me telling you my past and where we are in the present and what we're doing. I think you get the idea. What we're shifting to here is focusing on those 70% of Americans who want a job. I mean, who want to own their own company. And they want to escape the corporate world. And in particular, I spend most of my time working with technical people, but it's not always the case. I've tried to niche down into that, but I've found that's not that's not who I'm always working with, because that's not what they need. Right now, I have clients that are everywhere from IT director types, engineering types, creative marketing types, medical doctor types, and a whole lot of things in between, lawyers, and even some people that are in nonprofit world that kind of have nothing technical about what their job is. But the one thing they have in common is they want to take control. They want to take control and be in control of their own world. They want to own what they do. They don't want a boss telling them what to do. Not that they hate the boss, or they not even that they dislike the company they're working for. Many of them love their jobs, but they see that because of AI, some of these things are going away. Maybe not. They see their companies flailing, trying to figure out what to do next because it's the latest technology. And they talk a lot about it, but they don't do, which is normal, right? Because, well, that's just normal, right? So every client that I'm talking to now wants to start something on the side or go full-time or leave the corporate world completely. And many of them already have through retirement or because of downsizing or something like that. And they're stuck and they're dreaming of something more, but it's this fuzzy thing. So once me and these clients start working together, the truth is it hits fast. Many of them don't know what kind of business they could start, they should start, they want to start. They don't know. They're left with all kinds of questions. So I'm looking at some questions here that that I get so often. What should I even be doing? I mean, I had a guy tell me that just the other day. Smart person, has a long career, has helped a lot of people. I don't even know what kind of business to start, but I want to. I want to because of my family. I want to take control. Somebody else told me in a similar vein. He said, "I in 20 years in the business sector he is in, I have suffered 17 layoffs, and only one of them was my own fault." Right? I hear, and I've heard that exact statement with different numbers said by a couple of different people. Maybe that's a sector they were in. I don't know. People will always say to me, "Where do I begin?" I don't even know where to get started, even if they have an idea. So a lot of people come to me with an idea that's kind of half baked or maybe fully baked, but they don't know what to do first. They're taking all the standard stuff of, hey, I go and write a business plan, I develop a website, I do these things, and all that sounds really simple until you start doing it, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's an overwhelming activity. That in itself is more than I want to mess with. They say, how do I do this while working full time? Especially the people who are working full time. They feel like they have no margin. Most of these are people who have kids that are involved in everything under the sun, like we do, right? They're going to dance recitals, football practice, you name it, whatever kind of activities are out there. So their days are consumed, their weekends are consumed. When do I have time to do this? And even the people whose kids are older or maybe they're retiring, their margin is just, it's not there. Time margin. So how do I get it? How do I make this happen? And another common thing I hear is, what if I pick wrong? And actually, sometimes that's worded that way. What if I pick the wrong thing? But a lot of times that's the underlying issue. That's the fear. Many that I work with, they will, like a client that I work with, every time I talk to him, he has a new idea or a different twist of the idea. He hasn't pushed anything to the market yet, but he's created his idea 17 times, 18 times, 19 times. When I talk to him next, 20 times, because there's this fear. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong and it's not what the market wants, number one, and what if I'm wrong and it's not what I want? It's not fun to me. So all of these things, they're not it's not, when I look at the 70%, the data that I have seen, and I saw Dave Ramsey actually talking about this very thing the other day, that 70%, what is it? Dave Ramsey was pointing to its fear. And that's probably a true underlying issue, and it shows up in a lot of different ways. It's not really lack of motivation, maybe is a little bit, but it's just total overwhelm. Certainly there's some fear about, am I not going to have the income I have, and I've got this cushy job, I've got benefits. But mostly there's no roadmap. There's no roadmap. And when we, for most of us in this world right now, not all of us, but we have had a roadmap. We graduated high school, we went to college, we said, hey, this degree hanging on the wall over there would look good, and they told us what courses to take, right? There was a roadmap. We followed along like cattle, just being led to slaughter. And then we get to a corporate world. And sometimes that happens smoothly, sometimes it's difficult, but we end up in a corporate job, and I say corporate, it's all kinds of things. And then we have another roadmap. We have a boss or a set of guidelines or whatever it is. We have some framework to work within now of what to do. Where do I show up? What time do I get here? Where do I go? What do I do? Who do I talk to? How do I dress? It's a framework, right? It's all the things I need to know so I don't have to think about these individual little minor things every day. And I can go and produce something. What do I produce? What do you need me to do? What skills do I even have, even though I have these degrees? Can I really do anything with them? I mean, we were all there, and we've been walking through that path, and now we're somewhere else. Now we are. I've done that 100 times. I know how to do that. Everybody knows how to do that. That's the thing we tell ourselves. And the questions have kind of shifted as we get more experience. They've shifted. I moved from I didn't know how to do anything when I graduated, and we thought we did, right? We thought we knew everything, and and then I get a job and I don't know how to do anything. And hopefully most of us realize that at some point in time, or we're still cocky. And then as I move along, I realize, well, I know how to do a couple of things really, really well. And I feel pretty confident in some things that I do. And because I look at the people around me, well, some of them are idiots, right? So I feel kind of confident in the things I do. But when I step back, I'm like, well, I really don't do anything. I know how to do this one thing, moving from process A to process B inside my company framework, because there's Joe over here that always leaves things out, and Sam over here that expects other things. I know how to fill a void that's partly due to personalities, partly due to company's processes, but that doesn't translate because the same personality and the same processes aren't in my own company and customers I serve. Or at least I think that. At least we think that, right? We think that none of the work that we do translates. Now, that's a lie. That's a huge, huge lie we tell ourselves. But I don't know anybody yet. Well, I know some people, but for most people, they think that it doesn't translate and they don't really have anything to offer. A lot of people they get caught in the buzzwords things, and they'll rattle off all these buzzwords, and sometimes they don't have anything to offer except buzzwords. But either way, there is this total overwhelm. There is a lack of a roadmap. It's the same for those that came out of high school and jumped into a corporate job, or went roundabout methods to get into the jobs they're in. They have the same problems, right? If I want to go and do something else, I have no roadmap. Think about even a plumber. If you've been doing plumbing for years and you are working for Joe Blow the plumber, and he sends you out and you have 5 or 6 customers to take care of their plumbing issues every day, and you're like, I could do this on my own. I know how to do the plumbing. I seem likable. People seem to enjoy talking to me. I'm able to diagnose problems and fix them, engage with customers, and even difficult customers. I'm pretty good at that. And you think, I could go do this on my own. Maybe my Joe Below the plumber is actually supporting me. Hey, go do your own thing. And then you realize there's a whole bunch you don't know. What do I do first? How do I get my first customers? How do I pay these bills? Now there's a million unknowns and things, like there's so many coming at you, and what you need to do is fix the water in the pipe for your customers so you can get paid. But there's all these other things that have just shown up on your doorstep that Joe the plumber was handling, and you don't know. So we're all getting this issue of no roadmap, not knowing what to do next, and a whole bunch of noise. So that's the problem that we're seeing in that 70% of the people who are looking for something, but they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. So the new mission of this podcast, the new mission of the kind of work that I am doing, is doing this reboot and reshift. Now, so let's be totally transparent. I ran from this work. I was doing a lot of coaching. I was doing a lot of business startups. Everything into the venture capital level, and I just was like, shut it down. And I even, in my last podcast, somebody told me the other day, it's very ironic that your last podcast, I think it's episode number 2005 or 205, I'm sorry, is how do you know when it's time to quit doing something? And that was the last podcast I put because I was sensing this for me, is it was time to quit doing some things. And the podcast was one of them. But also I stepped out of I disappeared, if you will, from all the corporate activity, from all the venture capital type stuff, from all the noise. It was time to step away. And we did some other things. And there was lots of reasons for it, but a lot of it was just, it didn't seem like it was, it didn't seem like we were really helping. We weren't really targeting and helping people. And there's a whole lot of talk in those words. And it's really just venture capital and all those kind of startups are just, mini corporations. A whole lot of talk, not as much action, and a different kind of talk. So here in the Reboot, we're here to shift to help the 70%. Those of you who want to start a business, or maybe some of you who have started a business, but you can't seem to get it growing. You're struggling in it. You're in this early phase, and so many of you are not to profit yet. You're still in the red. A lot of people don't know that, right? A lot of people think you're doing okay. You've got the website and you're polishing things off, and you may still have a day job, you may not, but your business is still in the red, or it's just barely teetering in the black a little bit. But for most of you, you're in the red. I know it. I mean, I see it all the time. You can have offices and you can be seeing patients as doctors. You can have clients. You can have websites. You can have stuff, people buying stuff and shipping stuff, and be totally underwater. And sometimes even with the large numbers. So we want to help. We want to help because there's such energy to me in the people. There's such a difference in working with the people who actually are in the business they want to be in because they want to serve the people they want to serve. I don't know if that made sense, but for instance, there is I won't name his name because I don't have his permission, but there's an orthopedic guy I work with, and he's a believer, he's a Christian, and he truly and 100% believes his ministry is serving people with their orthopedic needs, hip and knee in his case, and he's passionate about it. And there's just something. Every time I talk to him, I walk away thinking, "That's so awesome. That is so awesome that this person is driven and sees it." Now, does he want to be profitable? Yes. Will he be profitable? Wildly. He's heading that way, and that's going to work out great partly because he has such a heart for people, and he's very careful about systems, and he's now getting clarity on the business and how to grow it, and he realizes, I'm a doctor, but I'm a business owner, and they're two different hats, same hat maybe, and there's a couple other things in there, right? But all the people that I work with is the same thing. They have this passion for serving this need for other people. And it's the passion we can have in the corporate world, but it often gets drowned by policy. So that's 70% out there. They want a business, and they want to be in control. This podcast, we're here for professionals that you feel like you've outgrown where you are. Many of us have outgrown it. We don't know where to grow to next, but we have outgrown it. We want to take control of our time, and for many of us, I'm hearing this conversation a whole lot lately. We want a legacy business. We want a business so that we hand it to our kids. That's a new one. It's not new at all, as you know. It's quite biblical, I think, but that's something I'm hearing more in society. We could say COVID started some of this, but I think it's always been there. Maybe that ramped it up, and now there's some other factors pushing it forward. So what we're going to do in this podcast, though, is we're going to be talking to those issues, and we're going to be talk about practical steps, clear frameworks, and just some real conversations. I want to bring you some of the reality, what's really happening out there. There's so much smoke and mirrors and noise in the small business world because everybody and their brother owns one. If you go to Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or wherever you go, TikTok, everybody's got one that's wildly successful and they're living the champagne life, and it's pretty much a lie every time. There's some interesting success stories, but most of them are smoke and mirrors, especially most of the ones we see that there's no meat to. So how do we get past that? How do we have something meaningful to do that? So some people want to go all in. I want to quit my job, and for those who are retiring, that might be a path for you. But we're really growing into a business, having a day job and growing into it is the safest route for most people. It's the most financially intelligent. I was looking at some research the other day, and those who quit, go full bore, go kind of all risk, are not as successful as those who start on the side. And it's probably because the risk factor becomes so stressful. The money issue becomes so stressful. I could talk about that all day long for all kinds of research I've seen. But more purpose, more ownership, more peace is where we're going. So anyway, I hope you can join us. I would love to hear. We're going to start. I would love to hear from you. My email is just dale@dalecallahan.com. I mean, shoot, just reach out to us. There's a small group of us here on the team. I will see all of these emails. This is I enjoy seeing what other people are doing. I enjoy hearing what your dreams are, how I can help, your frustrations, what's working, what's not working for you, or what you don't even know. That's all super, super helpful to us. I spend a lot of time hearing it. I see a lot of patterns, and I would like to see more, quite frankly. So if that's you, though, if you're one of these 70%, maybe you're in that 6% who's already started, but you're kind of struggling getting it to where you want it to be, stick around. Stick around. Come back here, like this, give us a thumbs up, give us a feedback. There's a whole bunch of episodes. The tune, who I am, is not changed. I'm still a believer in Christ. And so all of the things I've said before is still very relevant in all these podcasts. And we've actually addressed some of these subjects before, pre-AI and pre-COVID. So what we're going to do is help you, whether you're pre-quitting your job or not quitting your job. I'm going to be bringing that to you. So I hope you join us back here. I hope to hear from you. Our goal here is to push this out to YouTube and the podcast feed. I don't know how you're listening to it, but we'll be doing this. And our goal is to be out here every single week on this. What day is yet to be determined. But if you're one of those 70% and you would like to get, like to take some quick action, look in the notes there. I have a guide that's I call it the escape plan, but it will help you really think through. I got it right here in front of me. It's the 7 prompts to help you find your next move. And what it is the 7 questions. When I say prompts, I don't mean ChatGPT, but it could be. It's the 7 things to prompt you. Because if you're kind of stuck, if you're resonating with the things I'm saying right now, then you need to get a little unstuck. And there's nothing to get you unstuck like motion. And there's nothing to put you in motion more than sitting down and answering some questions and doing some small activities. Big giant things is not the trick. Building websites, business plans, doing big giant advertising campaigns, that's not what you need. If you don't have a plan for those things, then that's just a disaster. That's a time suck and a financial disaster. You need small activities that you can do in small amounts of time. So that's what this prompt will be. It's a 20-minute tool. It's built for a 20-minute exercise. And it will be great to help you think through that. So it'll be, the link to that will be in the show notes wherever you see this. Or if you're listening to this on a podcast, it will be at dalecallahan.com/206 for episode 206. All right, we will talk to you next time. Thank you for your time.